Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video, I am going to be giving you a preview for the Manchester United Tottenham game. Sunday, 4:30 kickoff at Old Trafford. On my recent video, I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. So, we are unbeaten in our last 3 league games against Tottenham. This is going to be tough for Manchester United. Tottenham have been in a good vein of form recently. They recently beat Maccabi Haifa by 7-2. I think it was in the Europa League. Harry Kane had scored a hat-trick. They did knock Chelsea out of the Carabao Cup 5-4 on penalties. They did draw their last league game though against Newcastle 1-1. This will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's third meeting with Jose Mourinho as Manchester United manager. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer overcame Jose Mourinho last season because we'd beaten them at Old Trafford last season by 2-1. It was 1-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Jose Mourinho is going to be reuniting with Manchester United. Now, Tottenham did appoint Jose Mourinho in last year. And there's been a lot of Tottenham fans that have been very critical of Jose Mourinho because you can say he has now passed his sell-by date. But Mourinho's got a fantastic pedigree behind him because he has won a total of 25 major honours and he has managed several clubs. You know, Mourinho did enjoy 2.5 years with us and he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Also got a second in his first season, and Mourinho recommended around 11 players in to Manchester United and spent around 400 million, or was it just under 400 million pounds? But the vast majority of our team, you know, now is Jose Mourinho's. But I think Tottenham did make a mistake by getting rid of Mauricio Pochettino because I thought he was a very, very good manager. Mauricio Pochettino did enjoy 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. Let's put into the equation Mauricio Pochettino guided Tottenham to the Champions League final. And don't forget, Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. This was obviously before Solskjaer got the job permanently in March last year. I like Pochettino. My only element of concern about him is that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, but he is well Premier League proven. But I think, you know, Tottenham have had a really, really good summer transfer window. They've made some good signings. Obviously, you know, they brought Joe Hart in on the free. They also brought Holberg in, was it from Southampton? They brought Doherty in. They brought Kyle Walker-Peters in. They got Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid. In reality, Manchester United should have really signed Reguilon. Tottenham also got Gareth Bale back. So Mourinho's made quite a few signings. He's made some other signings before as well. You know, he obviously brought Jedson Fernandez in on loan. They got Steven Bergwijn, who I think is a good player for Tottenham. Giovan Lo Celso, they also got him permanently. Well, he was on loan, but I think Tottenham made the deal permanent, yeah. They obviously, you know, got Ryan Sessegnon in. There's other good players that they've brought in recent years. You know, they've got obviously Tanguy Ndombele. I think he's Tottenham's most expensive signing. Don't forget they got Davinson Sanchez in. Sergio Aurier is a pretty good player for them. So, yeah. But the good news is, from our perspective, Tottenham have got a few injuries I want to update you on. Gareth Bale is unavailable for Sunday. I've just heard that Giovan Lo Celso's also now out with injury. And Heung-min Son, he's out with injury. And I do really, really like Heung-min Son a lot. You know, this is our 3rd league game of the season. So if we do win this game against Tottenham, it will be our second win of the Premier League season. We've played 4 games in all competitions so far this season. We obviously lost to Crystal Palace on the opening day by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And it was the second season in a row that Crystal Palace had beaten us at Old Trafford in the league. But since then, we've rejuvenated ourselves. We obviously beat Brighton in the league not so long ago, 3-2. You can say we was lucky in that game, and even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made that admission. We also beat Luton in the Carabao Cup third round 3-0. We was expected to obviously win that. Solskjaer made around 10 changes, I think, in that game. And we recently beat Brighton in the Carabao Cup fourth round by 3-0. But this is a game that Manchester United must win against Tottenham. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say quite a few stuff during his press conference. He obviously mentioned Jose Mourinho, and he said he's got respect for Jose Mourinho, and he said he's a good coach. He insists his spat with charismatic Mourinho is a bit of fun. He also mentioned Harry Kane, didn't he? Like I updated you earlier on. He said that Harry Kane is one of the top strikers in the world. He said he's happy, he's fit from the injury that he had last year. And he says we'll do everything we can to keep him quiet. Don't forget, before we was interested in Harry Kane, but we dropped out because Tottenham were demanding a substantial amount. Tottenham said they wanted a world record fee of around £200 million, and that's far too much for Harry Kane. Solskjaer also mentioned that we haven't been able to exploit the transfer market because, of the coronavirus pandemic. And Solskjaer admits, Manchester United have lost loads of money, but so too have a lot of other clubs. He gave us a bit of team news as well, didn't he? Harry Maguire, he's now available. Harry Maguire's recently been out with a knock, hasn't he? So it's good that Maguire and Harry Kane are going to be reuniting. That's a good thing to see. Also, Mason Greenwood was mentioned. Now, Solskjaer has actually backed Gareth Southgate's decision to withdraw Mason Greenwood from the England squad. I think, was it before the start of this season, we had a few issues with Mason Greenwood, didn't we? But Solskjaer has held negotiations with Mason Greenwood, regarding his private life. Mason Greenwood now currently wears the number 11. He's the fourth Manchester United player to wear the number 11. But he's looked very, very effective on that right-hand side. But in regards to transfers, like I said to you on my recent video, Solskjaer said if any ins or outs happen, we will be updated. But Solskjaer believes our current squad is strong enough to be consistent this season. Obviously. But I haven't been happy in this summer transfer window, because we've only made one signing, and that was Donny van der Beek. We got him for £40 million, didn't we? And he signed a 5-year deal with the club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears a number 34 shirt. He has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career, but Donny van der Beek isn't enough. And definitely Ed Woodward and the Glazers and Matt Judge are all to blame for the lack of transfer activity. But I think the biggest culprits are the Glazers, like I've mentioned before, because they're the ones that recommended Ed Woodward in, and they also recommended Matt Judge in. And I don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough in this summer transfer window. And like I've said time and time again, I think he does deserve more backing as Manchester United manager. because Solskjaer's publicly admitted that the club have got to spend money in this summer transfer window. And there is under 3 days until this transfer window shuts. But so far at the football club, Solskjaer has spent around £240 million. Last summer he brought Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. And recently brought Donny van der Beek in, and he's also brought a few academy players into the football club. We've seen a lot of players leave since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended into the club. Obviously, we try to get rid of more players now. It says earlier on this week that we could sell up to 7 of our players. The most recent to leave was Andres Pereira. He has gone to Lazio. But it's very imperative that we sell players because we'll generate money and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. And quite frankly, there is still deadwood at the football club, isn't there? In this game against Tottenham on Sunday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make a lot of changes from our 3-0 win against Brighton recently. Like I said earlier on, David De Gea will probably be back in goal. I don't think he should put De Gea in goal. I think he should stick with Dean Henderson in net. I've already said anyway that Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number 1 this season because I think Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1. He has got that experience behind him. He recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. We got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years. And in Dean Henderson's last 2 games, he has kept clean sheets, hasn't he? Kept clean sheet against Brighton recently. Made some good saves in that Brighton game. Did well in the Luton game, made his full debut then for the club. And a few weeks ago, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year deal with the club worth 120 grand a week. But I think we'll go with David De Gea. I said he will remain our number 1 for this season, and De Gea will stay at Manchester United for at least another season. This season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. So he's been a long servant, he's been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We paid just over £18 million for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. Now, I think De Gea's probably had around 7 good years, hasn't he, or something like that, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. De Gea has made 400 odd appearances for Man United in all competitions, 300 odd appearances in the Premier League, and he has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. If we sold David De Gea next summer, we'd still get quite a lot more than the £18 odd million that we paid for him from Atletico Madrid. If we'd have sold him in this summer transfer window, we'd have probably got around £60 million. But when De Gea does leave Manchester United, like I've said before, he will go back to Spain. Now, I think Wan-Bissaka, who come back into the team, Wan-Bissaka was rested against Brighton. It was Diego Dalot that played at right back against Brighton, wasn't it? I was surprised we went with Dalot. I thought we might have actually gone with Foseu Mensah because Foseu Mensah is now our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. The only thing with Wan-Bissaka, he has got to improve his attacking intent because that's what he's lacking at the moment. But I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive contributions always been very, very good. This season is Wan-Bissaka's 2nd season at Manchester United. Last season was his 1st season at the club. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. I think he can be our right back though for the next 9 to 10 years. I think Lindelof could be dropped in this one. Lindelof did actually play against Brighton in the Cup. He did look better alongside Baye than he's actually looked alongside Harry Maguire, but I think it will be Baye and Harry Maguire as a centre-back partnership. Because I think, Baye is a better centre-half than Victor Lindelof, like I've mentioned before, but my only element of concern about Eric Baye is that he is injury-prone. Baye has enjoyed a good four years or so now at Man United. paid £30 million for him from Villarreal back in 2016. But Solskjaer's confirmed he will get regular game time this season, will Eric Bay. He really, really will. Harry Maguire just come back from a knock, like I mentioned. Solskjaer's already made his decision on Harry Maguire. He will remain Manchester United captain this season. There's still aspects of Harry Maguire's game that's got to improve. Don't forget, before the start of our season, there were obviously issues with Harry Maguire because the other month he got arrested in Greece, don't forget. And he was convicted. And he did get given a suspended sentence of 21 months and 10 days. Now, Harry Maguire at the moment is our second most expensive signing, and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world. Now, Luke Shaw, he'll come back into the team. Luke Shaw was rested against Brighton recently. It was Brandon Williams that played at left-back against Brighton. Luke Shaw's a very, very good left-back, and like I've mentioned before, he has improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era as Luke Shaw. He's just recently recovered from an ankle injury. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. But prior to that, very, very good. We paid around £30 million for him from Southampton back in 2014. I think Matic could come into the team. Matic didn't play any part against Brighton in the cup recently. And possibly, Fred could be dropped. Maybe even McTominay could be dropped. But I think, we'll start Matic, to be honest with you. Or if we don't start him, he'll at least be involved in the game. Not so long ago, Matic signed a 3-year deal with Manchester United, didn't he? And I think there's aspects of his game that have improved. We know that he's always been like a slow player, and that is Matic. Matic has enjoyed a good 3 years or so now at the football club. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. He's in his 30s now, though, isn't he, Manu Matic? Paul Pogba, he came on in the game against Brighton in the Cup and obviously, scored that fantastic free kick, but he didn't start against Brighton. But I probably expect him to start this game against Tottenham. Paul Pogba was good when he came on against Brighton, but prior to that, he hasn't had a great start to the season as Paul Pogba. But I thought towards the end of last season, Paul Pogba made a fantastic impact. His combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. Now, there has been uncertainty regarding Paul Pogba's future. I just think we've got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club to end the uncertainty over his future. At the end of the day, Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Mini Raiola, I think, before the start of our season, he came out and said that Pogba wants to stay and he'll hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And this is his 5th season now at Man United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. Didn't really have a perception on him for the vast majority of last season because don't forget he was out with that ankle injury. Pogba's sustained a few injuries at Manchester United. Donny van der Beek. Now, if he does start this game against Tottenham, he will be making his full Premier League debut. Now, Donny van der Beek will be involved, definitely, whether he starts or he doesn't. Donny van der Beek, like I've mentioned, has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He did well in our 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season. He also did well in our opening day defeat to Crystal Palace. Came on and scored in his Premier League debut. Did well in Luton and did well in both games against Brighton, Donny van der Beek. Bruno Fernandes. Now, I heard that he's recently had a thigh injury. I've only just found that out. But I think Bruno Fernandes should be involved if he's fit because Bruno Fernandes didn't play any part against Brighton in the Cup. Bruno Fernandes has done very, very well at Manchester United since he came in from Sporting Lisbon. Bruno Fernandes has been at the club now almost a year, is it? Because he came in January. I think we got Bruno Fernandes in a deal worth £55 million. I think last season won some Matt Busby Player of the Season, reflects on his good performances. I think he must have won Premier League Player of the Month like 3 times. Marcus Rashford, I think he'll start the game. He did come on in the game against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. I think he was the one that won the free kick for Paul Pogba's goal, wasn't it? Did well when he came on against Brighton. And I think Rashford has really, really improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Not so long ago, Marcus Rashford had an ankle injury. He also had a back injury for us last season when he was out for a few months. Rashford's been at Manchester United now around 15 years. You know, he's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's now 22 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. We know now that Rashford plays on that left-hand side, obviously. Greenwood, he should be starting this game or be involved at least against Tottenham because he didn't play any part in the Carabao Cup game against Brighton. And Anthony Martial, I think he will be starting the game because he was also arrested against Brighton recently. It was a Gallo that obviously, you know, started against Brighton. Obviously, you know, Daniel James started against Brighton as well. So too did Juan Mata. I thought Juan Mata was absolutely exceptional against Brighton. You know, got a goal and also got an assist. You know, Juan Mata does have now 50 goals for Manchester United, doesn't he? I think we should give Juan Mata more opportunities this season. You know, I really, really do because I think he's enjoyed a very good career at Manchester United. Juan Mata's enjoyed a good 6.5 years now at the club. We got him from Chelsea back in 2014 for just under 40 million. But yeah, revert back to what I was saying about Martial. I think he's done well under Solskjaer. You know, last season he did well. Martial was also very, very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. You know, Martial plays now in that number 9. He's very, very effective, though, in that central position, even though it isn't his predominant position and all of that. So that is your preview for the Manchester United-Tottenham game. By the way, after this game against Tottenham in the league, it is an international break. And then I think our next league game is Newcastle, isn't it? Now, I want to give you some latest news regarding Daniel James. So, Solskjaer is determined to sell Daniel James. Now, reportedly, Solskjaer and the board have had a disagreement over this transfer plan because I think the board somehow want Daniel James to stay. Daniel James will go if we sign Sancho or another winger. Now, Leeds United are the ones that have been interested in Daniel James. It said not so long ago that they've inquired about getting him on loan. He said the other week that Leeds were preparing to put around the £12 million bidding for him. Back in January 2019, James came very, very close to joining Leeds. But obviously, due to Swansea pulling out the final hurdle, it didn't happen, obviously. So we got James last June for around £18 million. James signed a 5-year deal with us with an option of a further year. James doesn't get in the team now anyway, does he? So that's the news on that. Now, I want to delve into some news, well, more news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So, Michael Zorg, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director now, he's come out and said that Dortmund have held talks with Manchester United regarding Sancho, but Michael Zorg has not changed his stance. You know, he still believes that Sancho is staying at Dortmund for this season. But like I said on my recent video, I think Jadon Sancho now to Manchester United is over. because Borussia Dortmund have already said, they want £108 million. So they want us to break our transfer record to get him in. I think £108 million is far too much. And like I've said throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Dortmund said we won't sign Sancho in this before the deadline on Monday. Sancho, though, recently said he believes his move to Manchester United will happen before the deadline. So he's basically trying to force a move to Manchester United. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's held quite a few talks with Sancho. And I heard Sancho telling him that, he wants to come to the football club. And Solskjaer said himself he's convinced that we can get this deal over the line. Sancho recently skipped Borussia Dortmund training. And he was also withdrawn from Borussia Dortmund's squad for their game against Bayern Munich recently in the German Super Cup. So that fueled speculation up, didn't it? And Sky Sports said a couple of days ago that we had a £91.3 million bid turned down for Sancho. We'd offered like 73 million up front with 18 million in add-ons. I think we've had 2 offers now turned down for the player. But I heard that Sancho has agreed personal terms with Man United and he's agreed a 5-year contract with the club worth around 340 grand a week. But Solskjaer's been very infuriated over this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, because it has gone on for so long now. We have been in for him for like the last 3 years. Sancho's obviously our number one priority target. But we are now looking at a lot of alternatives to him because there is much cheaper solutions than him, let's be honest. So looks like now Sancho at Man United is dead in the water, but Dortmund said to us back in August that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho decided to go out on pre-season with Dortmund, and it mentioned that we'd abandoned our chase for the player until the summer of 2021. You already know the news regarding Ousmane Dembele. Reports have come out today from Ellie Queep and ESPN saying that Man United are in advanced talks with Barcelona to get Ousmane Dembele on the board. Obviously, we're looking to get him on loan with, I think, the option to buy him at the end of the loan. Paul Pogba is playing a big part in this because Paul Pogba has been talking with Ousmane Dembele, trying to convince him to come to Manchester United. Barcelona, I think, are determined to sell him because they're trying to get Memphis Depay on the board. My only element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he's injury prone. Dembele's been at Barca now for over 3 years. He's made 75 appearances in all competitions. He has got a contract with Barca till 2022, obviously. Barcelona got him in a deal worth 135 million from Dortmund back in 2017. Now, I just want to delve into some news on Chris Smalling. I think Chris Smalling now to Roma is a done deal. David Ornstein, said from The Athletic recently that Roma are closing in on the signing of Roma are closing on signing Chris Smalling permanently. I heard that Roma have put a new offer in, or preparing to put a new offer in. I heard that they're going to offer around 13.5 million or something like that. We've already turned one bid down from Roma. We turned down a £12 million bid. We said we want around 18 million for Smalling, didn't we? Something like that. Or is it £20 million? Smalling was out on loan with Roma last season. Smalling's been part of the club for several years. He's been at Man United now a good 9 or 10 years. But Roma now want Foseu Mensah as well as Chris Smalling. I think they want to get Timothy Foseu Mensah, is it on loan? It said the other week that would actually put Timothy Foseu Mensah up for sale. So that's the news on that. The news on Alex Telles. His move now to Manchester United could be in doubt. Porto want 18 million and we're not willing to meet their 18 million pound asking price. So yeah. But we must sell more players in this summer transfer window, like I've said before. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.